everybody, Earl at thelogbook.com, back one more time to finish our coverage of the Babylon 5 action figure range from the 1990s. As always, we had a wave of 4 figures and one much scarcer figure. In this case, not a variant, but a whole different figure with a very different form factor from anything we had gotten before. Now, as has been noted in the past, we wound up with a mixed bag as far as articulation on any of these figures. And that really, really hits in this wave, where 3 of the 4 figures have no leg articulation whatsoever. One of them doesn't even have head articulation. His arms kind of sort of move. That's it. So we were edging ever closer to being statues here. The only real articulation we get out of this wave, starting at the left, that's Captain Elizabeth Lockley from Season 5 of Babylon 5. Her head moves, although her hair doesn't allow it to move much. Her arms and legs move. So there is a little bit of posability there. Everyone else you see here, nothing south of their arms moves. So you have a Drazi next to her. That one at least has, a head and shoulders that move. The Gaim, which was an alien race, always seen, they're kind of generally understood to be an insectoid race under that suit. But the figure barely moves. The arms kind of move. That's it. And then over there on the far right, Walter Koenig as Bester the Telepath, a character who's been with us since Season 1, so it was really kind of interesting that he did not get an action figure until this 4th and final wave. As with the previous 3 waves, the figures were Diamond Select exclusives, so you could only get these through comic shops, and usually by this point as special orders. I mean, you would have to go bug whoever was ordering your pull list and say, okay, by the way, could you also see if you could get these? And I could tell you right now that the answer was kind of a cocked eyebrow and a maybe. And I wound up having to pick these up after the B5 figure range was history. Wave 4 figures did not come with ships, they came with patches. So you had the Earth Force Star Fury pilot patch, a very generic version of it. Came with Captain Lockley. Bester, of course, came with a Psy-Corps patch. The Gaim and the Drazi came with patches appropriate for their species. You know how sci-fi in the 90s was. Every species had a marketing department that developed a logo. So everyone had their own logo. Even the Borg had a logo. Did you know that? Anyway, a whole different franchise. But, it's just funny. In the 90s, every species was expected to have a cool logo. So, hey, aliens, get your marketing department working on that. This is not a variant of Lockley at all. This is just a Lockley that I happen to have in the box, separate from the one that I have out on the shelf with these guys. Now, the rare variant is so rare and so unusual, I have already done a video about this one separately. This is the Shadow Sentient, which basically this was the native form of the shadow creatures that plagued everyone throughout Babylon 5's run. And it was a creature that was only seen in the murkiest of lighting on TV. And actually, you know what, come to think of it, I should probably adjust the lighting in this video to match that, so we'll see about doing that while I keep talking. But very detailed figure. I mean, there we go, much more appropriate lighting for the shadow. The the amount of articulation on this figure was more than we got in some entire waves of more humanoid characters. So, yeah, the reaction after all of the super simple, almost statue action figures we had previously, why does this guy get all the articulation? I mean, it was an interesting way to go out. This was a super special exclusive special order with your comic shop. Or I believe there was also a mail order, a mail away thing that came with the customizable card game that was out at the time, which was really one of the last pieces of merch that was contemporary with the series. Like I said, this wave came out in 1999. Babylon 5 had formally finished by then as a series. You had a January 1999 TV movie called A Call to Arms, which aired on the cable channel TNT. And A Call to Arms was kind of a transitional piece that tied off Babylon 5, but was really there to lead you into a spin-off series called Crusade, which aired in the summer of 1999, if you could find it on the schedule, because TNT kept moving around, because by that time there had been a parting of the ways creatively between J. Michael Straczynski and Babylonian Productions on the one hand, and Turner Network Television on the other. So, Crusade was basically killed in its infancy. We got 13 episodes, no resolution. Yeah, how did the central quest of that show get resolved? We don't know. We don't know. We have no idea. Because it was never expanded on in print. It was never expanded on in comics, in audiobooks, in anything. We just didn't get the completion of the story. And so this was it. This was the end of Babylon 5 as an action figure range. There was so much territory that it could have gone into. The aliens here are really tantalizing. We could have gotten more aliens out of the deal. A Pakmara would have been cool. A Drak would have been cool. There were human characters who got left out of the action figure range entirely. Commander Sinclair, for one, a really big one there. We got Veer, we got Lanier, we never got Natath, with Jakar's aid. We never got the other Vorlon, who starts showing up in about the middle of the series. I'm going to leave that very vague for those of you who are just starting your B5 journey. There's another Vorlon. It was not the Vorlon Visitor variant that you got with Wave 2 of the figures. So much untapped potential. I would love for, like, Super 7 or Reaction to pick up the Babylon 5 license, if it's even being offered, and do B5 figures in a smaller kind of Kenner Star Wars form factor that the Reaction figures are so famous for doing. I feel like that would be... Would it be a runaway success story? No, but you would have some very appreciative fans and customers lining up to get those, and, as soon as there would be one wave, those fans would be demanding more. They'd be at your door like this guy, demanding more. They wouldn't let up. And maybe that's exactly what they don't want at Super 7. I don't know. Is someone telling them what to do. But so many characters left off the table. Talia Winters. Hot Shot pilot guy from Season 2. What was his name? Keffer. Warren Keffer. You could go back to the pilot. Takashima and Dr. Kyle. You could do the pilot version of Lita Alexander if you really wanted to. How difficult would that be? So many things were left undone with the B5 figure range, and so, as always, this show got the short shrift next to the merchandising machine that Star Trek was in the 90s. Of course, Star Trek merch now is kind of where B5 merch was at the time. So, swings and roundabouts, as they say. It's kind of sad that, some of our favorites just don't get the love that they really deserved. And so there you have it, the end of the Babylon 5 action figure range. I know there were, I don't know if it was an official variant. I know there was someone doing head swaps of Lockley and Commander Ivanova from Wave 2. And so you had Ivanova in an Earth Force uniform, which was not a figure that was easy to get. There was so much unfinished business with Babylon 5 as a toy range, but the characters that we did get, believe me, were much appreciated and were good enough that they left us wanting more.